this is what you have to set up before, a day before at least, in order to have the glue dry. You're going to need a piece of cardboard. Find something that you can glue with white glue to the cardboard that you could roll over with the ink. That will give you a raised texture. So in this case I use string, but you can use any object that will give you a surface texture that you can mount onto a piece of cardboard that you don't require again, because once you've used it you can reprint from it, but you can't take it back to an alternative use. This piece I've rolled ink over once after it were dry. So I'm going to show you the process now of how you go about rolling ink and making prints. So I wanted to show you the box set of a Breyer's roller, including the non-toxic ink, which is an alternative to just buying the separate pieces of the ink in the Breyer's roller. That comes as a kit, which is more convenient for the process of doing printmaking. So here's what you're going to need to do your Breyer's rolling with ink. There's the ink and the Breyer's roller, which is a rubber roller, and you're just going to need even something that you've cleaned up and was disposed of, a styrofoam tray to put your ink in, as well as some paper from your sketch pad that you're going to use for the printing sheets. And there again is the pre-made cardboard piece with your string or whatever item you've chosen to glue down. Here's my styrofoam container that I've cleaned up, just reused, and my rubber Breyer's roller. This is what it looks like. This is the non-toxic ink in one color is all we're using. That's why we're doing the monotint assignment. You're just going to put a dab of ink in your styrofoam tray. Take your Breyer's roller and begin to work it. Now you're going to need to go back and forth in different directions over and over that ink until you get an even ink consistency in the tray, something like this. It came out as a dab and now it's a nice even square. The ink is sticky. It'll make a little sound when you lift it off the roller. Now you need to ink up the object that you previously glued down and let dry on your cardboard. You're going to probably need to do several passes. So you need it nice and evenly spread over that object. Now just set your Breyer's roller in the tray with the handle on the side so you don't get the ink everywhere, and take a sheet of clean paper without moving the paper once you place it over top of the image. You're going to firmly press it into place. And do a transfer onto your image. Now you can take a second piece of paper over the top that you can just dispose of later on, just to make sure that you've given a nice tight pressure over top of that paper that's underneath. And then raise your image up. What you will get with your image is something that looks like this one, or whatever object you've chosen to do. The other interesting thing you can do with printmaking is you can take a sheet of paper. I'm going to take that spare sheet. There's a lot of holes in this textural fabric, so this would make a nice printmaking surface. In this case, you can print over top of paper that's underneath the image. So with a drop, I'm going to spread that ink out until it's even again. And there's a nice even rolling technique. So by placing the lace underneath my paper, I was able to get a dark floral image coming through. This half that's darker is because I did more than one pass over that area, and this side is a little bit lighter. And you can do some experimenting until you get the coloration that you want. So I've placed the lace in between two sheets of paper, and now I'm just going to ink up my sheet, pressing firmly. Going both directions. And by having the lace underneath, I was able to produce a print that looked like this. I just had it between two pieces of paper, and I inked the top of the paper, and the texture came right through. So this here was my glued down string with several passes going over it, which made it a lot darker than my other piece that I did on a different type of paper. And that's a nice tonal texture. And so I'm going to roll across the top of my page and see what print comes off of the ink underneath. So by simply rolling over the raised area, you get the ink picking through the paper and creating a nice image over top of the page. The other side also produces an image, just pulling the ink off of the surface, but the nicer print comes from the top. So that's some of what you can do with the Breyers roller. I'm going to bring this in close so you can see what I was able to create with my glued down cardboard string. So we're looking at line and texture and tone. And in true printmaking art, you would run off a series of 2 or 3 of these prints and try and have them look as closely ink plated as possible in that they look like duplicates. That is the printmaker's art.